excited to have you here and just be creating this video that has been requested for a very, very long time from you guys. We're just going to be talking today about how I got started with social media marketing and digital advertising, and now how I've kind of evolved into running my own online business. But more importantly, I have 3 very important tips for you if you are just getting started with a service-based business and how you can get more clients online. So this is a question that I get asked all the time and I can't wait to address it. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, so if you've been part of my channel for a while, you've seen a ton of different backgrounds. We're still getting kind of settled into our new loft, so you're gonna be seeing some changes coming soon for sure. But I really wanted to create this video for you, just like a very casual chat kind of thing, just really relaxed. Just imagine we're having some tea together. I actually have my favorite tea ever, which is ginger tea. It's so yummy, guys, and it's super healthy for you. So if you want to just hang out, get comfortable, let's just have a chat and let's talk about your service-based business and 3 of my top tips to really start getting those first couple of clients, start getting some momentum with your online business. So before we even get started, I just want to make this clarification. Even if you don't have a social media marketing business, this still applies to you. It doesn't matter what type of service-based business you have, this can still apply to you. So I want to make sure that you come into this with the mindset of, okay, how can this work for me, even if it's not the exact same business model? So this is a question that, as I mentioned, this is a question I get asked a lot. Like, how did you get started with your online business? And I have talked about it on other people's channels and other people's podcasts. I'm going to link to them below. Actually, I just talked about this on the Visibility Vixen YouTube channel and podcast by Michelle Lewis. She's amazing. And I'm going to have her interview down below, as well as on Faye's World. And Faye's an amazing chick as well. You have to check out her podcast. It's really, really cool. I'm going to link to it below as well. And actually on Faye's World, we talked for like 2 episodes of how I got started because it was a very long journey. And so I wanted to talk about this on my own channel because this is a question that I get asked constantly from you guys, as well as from my subscribers over on my email list and my Facebook page, my Instagram. So I really wanted to just talk a little bit more about that, how I got started, and hopefully my story will inspire you. Plus I have those 3 tips that we talked about. So a very long story. I'm gonna try to make it as short as possible. I don't know that that's a possibility, so I apologize in advance if this video is really long, but I don't want to skip over some of the details because I do think that there's some really important lessons there that I've learned along the way that really helped me to grow my business. So primarily, let's start from the first day one. I never thought I would have a business at all. I never thought I was going to be an entrepreneur. I never thought that I was going to ever, run the show and be the boss at all. I always envisioned having a corporate job and kind of, excelling there and becoming probably a PhD and going the academia route because both my parents are academics. My dad is the president of a university in Puerto Rico called Antillean Adventist University, and my mom is a biology professor. So I was born and raised, well, not born, I was raised in a college campus, literally. We lived on campus. And I was always, really good student, had straight A's, very, I would say applied in my studies. And I moved to Atlanta for school because I was pursuing a bachelor's in dietetics, nutrition and dietetics. I wanted to be a registered dietitian. And at the time, Puerto Rico's social climate was kind of crazy and there was a lot of different riots. Not riots, there weren't riots. There were, I don't know how to say that in English. It's like, so it's different than here in the US. Like in Puerto Rico, we'll have the students have a protest. It's always like a peaceful protest, but they'll shut down the university system in Puerto Rico, and it's happened quite a few times. And when I graduated from college, it happened, and then 2 years into my college career, my college journey, they actually had the same problem. So the only university that had the program available at the time was the University of Puerto Rico in Rio Piedras, and they had major issues there. And my dad was like, you can't go to that school because it's going to really affect, like your progress. If they're shutting down the school constantly, that means you won't be able to graduate on time, and possibly, you might not be able to get a job as quickly as you want. So you should go to the US. So we did that. I did that, and against my own will, pretty much. I didn't want to move. And then I did, and it was great. I loved it. And then I met my husband, Chris, who's now my husband. We were dating at the time, and he had just started his business. It was a traditional, service-based business. It was moving and relocation of college kids, as well as furniture installation for student housing. And it was a business he started in his dorm with his brother, and it was starting to, kind of grow a little bit, and he decided to quit his job. So being the good girlfriend that I was trying to be, I decided, okay, I really want to help him. Let me start a Facebook page for him, and maybe we can market that way. So we tried a bunch of other things, of course, built the Facebook page. It was really slow at first. I think we had like 60 fans on that page when I first started, and they were all like friends and family. So we started putting out content. It was, of course, a local business, and I started really reading a lot about marketing, and I fell in love with it. At the same time, though, at school, I was taking business classes because part of my nutrition and dietetics degree included, the requisites, which you had to take a business class and you needed to take a class about entrepreneurship. So it's called the Entrepreneurial Nutritionist. And I was like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. I could have my own business as a dietitian, as a nutritionist, maybe have my own practice. And kind of like a light bulb went off, and I started becoming more and more interested in business and how it worked, and entrepreneurship and marketing. So I'm running Chris's online marketing for him. And of course, I didn't know what the heck I was doing at first. It was absolutely horrendous. And this was 2012, so 5 years ago. And at the time, I really, didn't ever think that it would evolve into anything. We tried so many other marketing and advertising strategies that flopped terribly, but Facebook started to really work for us organically. And then we invested about $400 in Facebook advertising. And I hate throwing numbers at you because this sounds really unrealistic, and I honestly don't think that this is something that you could easily replicate. But that summer, we tracked every single client customer that we actually got, and we asked each of them, where did they find us? And we wrote it down in their little kind of quote form. We went back and looked at all of them at the end of the summer, which was his busiest time of the year, and we figured out that we actually made $23,000 in revenue from that $400 we invested in Facebook ads plus the organic interaction, which is amazing. It was mind blowing. And all of a sudden I kind of figured out, oh my gosh, this actually works, and this is amazing. So friends started asking questions. I actually started telling other people, what we were doing, and I fell in love with social media marketing hard. I loved social media marketing. I loved learning about these apps and how you could connect with potential clients and how to make it really authentic and how to provide value first and be of service. And I decided, what, I'm going to actually get a internship while I'm in school, just to learn a little bit more about this whole marketing thing. It's a great way to pay my way through school because I was doing that at the time, and I can get some experience. So I did that, and I actually ended up pitching my first client instead of getting the internship. I created a portfolio of everything I had done for Chris's business, and I pitched my first client. I literally found them on Craigslist. I did a search, and they were advertising. It was a medical center. It was a cardiologist and his team of cardiologists. So it was a team, I think it was maybe 4 or 5 doctors in the practice, and I pitched them on, becoming my first client, and it was awesome. I was paid hourly, which I thought was great at the time, and I got my first client. And then a couple weeks later, one of my friends was like, hey, this marketing agency is actually hiring a social media director. Why don't you apply? So I did, and I got the position. It was part-time. I was in school at the time. It was amazing. So I started really learning about social media and applying what I was learning for multiple businesses. At the same time, I was doing it for free for a couple of my friends just to get, as many clients as I possibly could, as much experience as I could. And I was head down in the trenches, really learning social media marketing so that I could provide results for my clients, which was super important for me. So at this point, I still didn't think that I was going to have my own business. I was head down, learning as much as I could, signed up for as many podcasts as I possibly could subscribe to, as many webinars. I was learning and really trying to understand that process. Okay, so quick tea break. Oh my gosh, that's so good. I love ginger tea. Okay, so head down, really understanding, how social media marketing worked. And I decided to start a blog just to document what I was learning and sharing it with my friends because so many people were asking me questions. So I did that. I started a blog. At first it was on Tumblr, and then I built my own WordPress website, which was extremely hard, like crazy hard. Back then we didn't have these cool, super easy to customize themes like Divi, and it was just not fun. Anyway, so I put a website up. I built a portfolio on my website as well as my LinkedIn. I started to really document everything that I was doing in case this turned into some kind of career path for me, which at the time I was actually a senior in college. So I was literally like months away from graduation. And a couple of months later, about 3 months after I got that position at the marketing agency, I got this Facebook message from this person, and he was basically telling me about a job opening as a social media coordinator for a local corporation. It was a corporation in town. They actually did a lot of, they're a student housing and management company, and they had about 14 properties at the time, and I think it was like 7 states. And it was really weird because it was Facebook and I didn't really take it seriously, so I didn't respond for like 2 days. And then he messaged me again via Facebook, and he was like, I know this is really strange, but I would love for you to come in for an interview. Gave me links to their website and their phone number and whatnot. So I started doing a little bit of research, and I talked to my parents and I was like, hey, so there's this potential opportunity to be a social media director. It's full-time, benefits, corporate job, and what do you guys think? So they're like, just go to the interview and see, how it goes. At the time I was like, no, but I want to be a dietitian, and it was kind of conflicted because I really was super passionate about digital marketing, more than I knew at the time, but I was also very passionate about nutrition and dietetics, and that was like my career path. So I went to the interview, they offered me the job, and it was like totally shocking. It's crazy. And they're like, yeah, we found you via Pinterest, and then found your blog, and we think that you're the exact person that we're looking for. We want to build our social media marketing department from the ground up. We want you to hire a team, and we want you to lead our department. It's, virtual team. And I was like, really? Like, me? Like, I don't have that much experience. But for whatever reason, they believed in me, and that was amazing. So I started that job, took a break from school, and that was one of the most amazing experiences for me. I really started to understand how to run marketing campaigns at a much higher level, with way more resources than most small businesses have. So I really learned the ropes, and I worked with them for about 6 months. We built an entire department and was doing some really awesome things virtually to tie in their physical marketing, their traditional marketing, right? They're like on the street kind of marketing to their online marketing. And that was an amazing experience. I mean, we did really, really cool things that I can't talk about because I did sign an NDA, but it was an amazing experience, and I learned so much just by being in the trenches. However, it was my first corporate job, well, my only real job ever. And I was working about 50 to 60 hours a week. Plus I had clients on the side because I kept my side clients just in case, I launched my business someday, which was a very, very crazy notion for me back then. I didn't think that was ever going to be the possibility, but I still wanted to service them. And I was working nights and weekends, and it was just really hard transition for me. So a couple of weeks before I decided to quit my job, my husband was kind of, you just noticed I wasn't very happy. I was really, really stressed out. I was working a lot. And it was like the work was no longer as satisfying as I thought it would be because it was so much of it. We were managing more than 30, like about 35 social media accounts. And that took a lot of work. We were updating them multiple times a day, making sure that we were staying up to date with the latest trends and then implementing advertising and making sure that our campaigns were in sync with what was happening at the properties. And it was a lot of work and I loved it. I really, truly did. I loved the people that I worked with and I loved the work, but I was starting to get really, really burnt out. So I burnt out completely. And I kind of remember just the feeling. It was like, I didn't really have a lot of creativity. I felt really tired all the time and just like I didn't have that passion as much as I used to. Now I understand how to deal with that, and I've been burnt out multiple times throughout my career, but back then, I was 22 years old and I didn't really understand that. So, and how to get out of that rut. So I decided to talk to my father-in-law and sit down with him and ask him, what he thought about possibly, quitting my job and starting my own thing. So I already had clients on the side. Remember, I'd been working my buns off, literally just nonstop to learn the trade and implement and start really getting results for people. So I felt like I was ready in terms of being able to get results for clients, but I didn't, I saw and witnessed from my husband how much work went into running your own business, and I was really scared because I had student loans. I hadn't finished my bachelor's degree yet. I was super close. And I talked to him and he told me something that I'll never forget. He said, don't ever, and this is the other thing, which is really important. I felt so guilty about leaving that job because it was a dream job. It was amazing. I loved the people I worked with. I was doing work that really made a difference, that satisfied me, that made me feel happy. But I just, for whatever reason, I knew that wasn't what I was meant to do in the world. And that kept me up at night constantly. I felt so guilty about it. Like I had this amazing job, but I wasn't happy. And it was just eating at me because a lot of my friends back home, they were struggling to get jobs. And here I am having like the most amazing job ever. I'm playing on Facebook all day, which was great. It wasn't just playing on Facebook. You guys know it takes a lot of work to plan out a content strategy, but it was amazing. And I decided to quit because he told me, don't ever feel guilty about moving away from something that's good to move into something great. And that was like, wow, that was like crazy for me. So I went ahead and I turned in my resignation letter. The president of the company talked to me and was like, hey, Kim, let's keep you on board. You can start your own business, do your own thing, but we'll become your client. And that's what we did. And it was amazing. I got to work from home and manage all of the accounts and really lead the team. And I did that for about 2 years, almost 2 years. At the same time, I partnered up with the agency I had interned in or had the social media marketing director position, and started getting clients through them as well. I networked like crazy. People started reaching out via YouTube and via website. At that point, I had already launched the YouTube channel, but it wasn't an actual channel. Like I didn't know what I was doing. I just put out like a couple of videos on how to use Hootsuite and Buffer. And they're still on the channel, by the way. You can take a look at them. They're very popular, but I had no idea what I was doing. I was just putting out content and getting myself out there. And slowly but surely, clients started coming my way, and eventually I had a wait list of clients. I literally couldn't take on so many clients, but I kept putting myself out there, even though I wasn't very consistent because I had so much client work. At one point I was handling about 22 clients and it was way too much, but I just wanted to give you an insight on like the progression. It took a while. Like, you know, I've been in business almost 4 years now in July, and it took a while. In terms of building my service-based business, it took a good 2 years, but I never not had clients. Like, I always had way more clients than I needed, and that was because I was consistently and purposefully putting myself out there. Even if I didn't really know what I was doing, I was creating content. I made sure that I, you know, tried to put out a blog post at least once a month, and just getting that exposure really helped me. So I have 3 tips for you if you're just getting started with your online business, or you're getting started with the service-based business, more importantly, that I think could really help. Number 1 is you have to know what you're doing, okay? I never subscribed to that idea that you could just, you know, theoretically read and learn about strategies and then charge people for them. Like, I don't think that's right. You want to be able to know what you're doing and be able to really get your clients actual results. And there's no way you're going to be able to do that unless you do the work. And so the first thing that I did was I did, you know, pro bono work. When I started with Chris, he wasn't necessarily paying me, and so I did a lot of it for free, right? I just wanted to learn and be a good girlfriend, but I also helped a lot of my friends, and I helped them for free, and I managed accounts for almost 9 months without, you know, ever charging for them, because I really wanted to understand social media marketing and be able to have the confidence to charge clients what I was worth. So it's really important that you get pro bono work. Start doing things for free. I know that that sounds counterintuitive because you probably want to start a business so that you can quit your day job and actually provide, you know, income for your family and support your family and support the kind of life that you want to live. And you probably want to do so because you want to have freedom. But don't ever start a business just for the sake of quitting your day job. You really want to start a business that you're passionate about, that you're actually going to put in the work to learn the strategies and the skill set that is necessary for you to have a sustainable, long-term business. Otherwise, you're just going to create another job for yourself. And trust me when I tell you, it's a lot harder to have a business that becomes a job because it does not come with benefits and it does not come with perks. It's very stressful. And the last thing I want for you is to quit a job just to start another one that's way more risky. So that's one thing that I really want you to take into account. Number 1, do work for free. Do it pro bono. Get, you know, kind of like as much work as you possibly can out there in the world and start learning the tools and the skill sets that you need in order to start really providing real tangible results for your clients. It's super important. The other thing that I would really recommend doing, and this applies, you know, even if you're not a newbie, is to put yourself out there consistently. This is something that so many of us take for granted and we don't do consistently. So start a blog, start a podcast, start a YouTube channel, start getting your name out there. Go live on your Facebook page and start sharing what you're learning with people. When I first got started, I wasn't like an influencer. I wasn't like, you know, I didn't really know what I was doing, but I was consistently sharing what I was learning with my friends and my family. And eventually, you know, it turned into a full-blown blog and a YouTube channel, and I was sharing it with other people. So start sharing what you're learning with other folks and do it in a way that's authentic and transparent. Don't just teach them a strategy that you're learning without actually implementing it and getting results, but start talking about maybe some of the tools and some of the other things that you can actually dominate and that you know can really help your ideal client. So the third thing that I would do, and this is really important, is make sure that you are adding value and network your buns off. Whether you do it, you know, online through something like Facebook groups, really adding value to a community, to someone else's community, can really help you get paying clients. And that's something that I did when I first started. So start adding value in communities. Maybe it's, you know, LinkedIn groups or even, you know, Google communities. is make sure that you are adding value consistently and networking. Take to LinkedIn. It's a great way to find potential prospects, connect with people, ask if there's anything that you can do to help them without charging them or pitching them. Like, just genuinely care about other people's businesses and start adding value. Whether you're B2B or B2C, it doesn't matter. When it comes to service-based businesses, it's so important that you establish yourself as an authority and that you build that likability and that trust factor. And you can only do that by, truly being engaged and active. So network online or network in real life, attend events, make sure that you're building connections with other people. Go to vendors and partner up with them. Maybe you are a graphic designer, so go out there and partner with a website developer, or go out there and find connections with someone who does online marketing and start building your network so that people can start referring you. That's one of the things that, really helped my business, was building those relationships and then just doing really good work, because my clients would refer me to their friends, and that really helped to build my business organically. The other thing that I think is really important, and I know we're past our 3-tip mark, but I think this is extremely important. Position yourself as someone who really, I would like to say as an authority, because that's really what you want to do ultimately, but position yourself as someone that folks can actually come to with questions. I would answer questions on Twitter constantly. I would search Twitter and make sure that I had my listening tools, active, so that I could jump into Twitter conversations and answer questions for people, not expecting anything in return. And I can't tell you how many clients would reach out to me because I answered their question, or because they saw me answer someone else's question. So definitely don't underestimate using your own platforms to grow your own business. And it's so important, especially if you're in the social media marketing sphere. You want to be able to stand out, and you want to make sure that your profiles really, really speak to your ideal prospects, because you have to walk your talk. So those are some of the tips that I have for you. I hope this video was helpful. I know it was kind of like different and very, very long, but I just wanted to show you a little bit more about my world and my journey. Now we no longer offer service-based products or services. We just we do online training and coaching and consulting, and that's been an amazing journey. But I want you to know that that's not how I started, right? It's been almost 4 years, and I've worked really, really, really hard to get to where I am. So whether you're just getting started with your service-based business, or you're trying to take it to the next level, know that it's a process, that it's a journey, and that you're on your own path and your own roadmap to success. So it's really important that you reach out when you need help, but also that you give yourself permission to enjoy whatever stage of that journey you're in right now. It's one of the things that I've really taken to heart from the very first day I launched my business, and I can't tell you how much I've enjoyed being an entrepreneur, how much I've enjoyed having my own, kind of my own thing, and being able to have flexibility and the freedom to do so. So really important. I hope that you enjoyed these tips, that you implement them. More importantly, implement what you're learning. Don't just learn for the sake of learning. Just do something with the knowledge that you're actually absorbing. Put it to work for you, because if it's just in your head, it's not going to do anything for you. You want to make sure that you're implementing and moving forward and taking the steps necessary to start building your business, and do so in a way that's sustainable. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. For the 3rd time, I think I've said that 3 times now. If you did, make sure to give it a big thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. We put out videos consistently, and I can't wait to see you over on our Facebook group. If you haven't joined our mastermind group over on Facebook, definitely do so. It's Kimberly and Jimenez /mastermind, and you're going to join over 500 online business entrepreneurs who are there just asking for feedback and generating a lot of valuable content for you that you can learn from, that you can interact with, and hopefully that you can definitely use and leverage in order to grow your business, learn the tools of the trade, and keep moving forward. So I can't wait to see you there. Definitely come over and do that. And that's it for now, I think. All right, guys, thank you so much. Big hugs and kisses, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye for now.
The Business Lounge is here. Are you coming? Get access to a growing course library, exclusive tools and resources, plus a supportive community that'll hold you accountable and meet you wherever you're at in your entrepreneurial journey. So if you're ready to take your online business to the next level, get started at jointheblounge.com.